Believe it or not, narcissists are becoming better abusers. They are getting better at hunting people down. With all this awareness spreading about narcissistic abuse, these creatures are learning what not to do to make sure they are not detected easily. So it becomes more important than ever for you to become more capable of detecting a narcissist, knowing you're dealing with a narcissist if you come across one. Hi, I am Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. In this episode, I will equip you with all the necessary information so that you become better at detecting narcissists, finding out if you're dealing with a narcissist before they abuse you. If that sounds interesting, please consider subscribing to my channel because your subscription can help in spreading awareness about narcissistic abuse. If you were to look at the classic traditional cycle of narcissistic abuse, you would notice that a person goes through 3 stages. It's known to all of us now. Idealization, love bombing, then devaluation, and finally the discard. In the love bombing stage, the narcissist puts you on the pedestal, all the sweet talk and all that. Then slowly that transitions to devaluation. Ultimately, that leads to discard. But now it has changed slightly. Talking about the idealization phase, what I have seen, it's based on experience, based on what I get to hear from survivors like you. The idealization phase has become more intense. The narcissist does not just talk, they try to walk the talk. What does that mean? That simply means they do things to convince the other person that they are trustworthy, that they are who they are pretending to be. This evolved variant of narcissist does not display the classic or commonly known red flags of a narcissistic personality. We know if you come across a narcissist in the early stages and they could try to pretend to be the victim of their circumstances and might call their ex crazy. Now, I have seen narcissists don't do that. Yes, many will, but there are some, especially those who consume information like this, they know what not to do, so they won't call their ex crazy. They might subtly point out some things that could together tell us there was something wrong in the relationship and the blame is being shifted on the other person, but they are not overt in expression of it. They stay low-key. They might weaponize radical honesty against you. They may make it seem like they know all the wrong things they have done and they want to improve. Sometimes they won't openly say it, but they would insinuate. They will shape the environment and create a narrative that will give you a false hope of what they could be. Again, dangling the potential. But this time, it's done in more of a sophisticated way. Then comes the intensity, which is the second red flag, especially of the love bombing stage. You know how intense everything is in the beginning with a narcissist. Those narcissists who are sophisticated and well aware of what they are doing won't take it at the crazy speed. They will make it seem like everything is going on gradually. You will feel the connection that you do not expect yourself to feel with a narcissist. You will truly feel comfortable. But later, all of it could come crumbling down because you could eventually find out it was nothing but a facade that you were dealing with, that it was an intensified love bombing stage that didn't feel like love bombing stage. Would you believe if I were to tell you that there are narcissists out there who are ready to divorce their former partners for you, and on your instructions? I have seen that happening. Let's say you get into a relationship with a narcissist, but they are still involved and they give you some kind of sob story that is believable. It's not like my ex is crazy. It's like, oh, we're not getting along and both of us, we are at a different stage in our lives and we need different things now and all that. And you will think, oh, maybe this person is really aware of what they want and need, only to deceive them so that they can deceive you as well. So far we know narcissists like to drag people along. They'll give you false hope. And they may say, oh yeah, this is the problem, that is the problem, I want to leave my partner, but I can't, and give you a lot of excuses. That is what they used to do. Now the trend has changed. The narcissist will leave the former partner and say, oh, I did it for us. I wanted us to be together. And in your mind, you may think, oh, that is the ultimate proof. That is the ultimate thing. That is the ultimate sacrifice they needed to make. That means they are loyal to me. That means they want to be with me. But the same thing happens later with you. Somebody else shows up in their life. They divorce you, replaced, and now they are with somebody else. Just because somebody divorces their current partner, the one they are married to, and says, oh, I did it for you, does not necessarily mean they won't do the same to you. Because if they could do what they did to them so easily, why would they think twice before repeating the same thing with you? Just because somebody divorces their current partner and makes it all about, I have done it for you, I have done it for us, does not necessarily give you the license to an abuse-free marriage. The modern or the evolved narcissist pays close attention to your wants and needs. All narcissists do, but they do not meet them at a basic level. What is the biggest and the most important thing to do for somebody, especially nowadays where we don't have a lot of time at our hands? To cook for them, to clean for them, to make their home nice and cozy, to take care of them when they are alone and sick. I mean, all these things, because you know how times are changing. So the narcissists, being the predator they are, will hit you where it hurts the most. They will target those needs that have not been met for a long time. For example, you are in a foreign country where loneliness is prevalent. They will show up probably every single week, if possible every single day, prepare meals for you, and you come to a warm home. Isn't that convincing? Doesn't that make it seem like, oh, you are dealing with a full green flag? No, it's not. Still, they will get you, and they will get you when it hurts the most. They'll drop all of this, and that is how the devaluation, the sophisticated devaluation stage begins. They will stop doing all of this. Earlier it was intensity, calling you all the time, wanting to know where are you, who you are with. That was control. Saying all the sweet things. Now it is doing all the sweet things, and all of a sudden stopping them and blaming you. What do you do for me? Even though you never asked for it and you try to reciprocate, even though they know your schedule is different and you can't show up like that, but it still will be scrutinizing you, blaming you, shaming you for not keeping up with the standards. Do you resonate with any of this so far? If yes, let me know in the comments, and let me know what you resonated with the most. What have you experienced as a change in the dynamics of narcissistic abuse, especially nowadays? Drop them in the comments below, and who knows, you might end up helping a lot of people. Then comes the psychobabbling. This one is quite prevalent because manipulation, gaslighting, narcissism, and all the words alike are quite trending now. These are buzzwords and quite easily thrown around. So the actual thing gets lost because anything happens, people are quick to jump to conclusions, even though it may not be narcissism. They make it seem like it is. Narcissists are first in taking advantage of this awareness and in using it for the wrong purposes. Let me give you an example. So you're dealing with a narcissist who was quite caring in the beginning, would be at home waiting for you, might have cooked something for you, and the intensity, like you need action, there it is. But all of a sudden, they're spending a lot more time out. They're not present the way they used to be. They're not attuned. They're not connected. And if you try to tell them or express your needs that we had something else, I signed up for something else, you promised me something else, even though they didn't overtly, but we dreamt something else together. What is this? Come back home early or do this. We used to do that. Oh, you are nasty. You are controlling. You're gaslighting me into thinking I am wrong when I am not. You are manipulative. You are emotionally insensitive, and you do not honor my space. This is what we call psychobabbling. They may go on to say, you have a victim mindset. Oh, it's all because of your past. You grew up in a very dysfunctional household. Your parents were like this. Your father was like this. Or your mother was like this to your father. It makes sense why you're treating me this way. Oh, you have a lot of trauma. You have a baggage. Oh, you have a problem with men, you're taking it out on me. The counter gaslighting. You're not gaslighting them, you're simply pointing out the absence of something that was present earlier, because actions, you felt those, you felt that connection, and now all of a sudden you become controlling, you become manipulative, you become the gaslighter, and ultimately they call you a narcissist. A lot of people nowadays book appointments with me, and I'm shocked to hear that the actual narcissist called them a narcissist, and they're confused. They ask me, am I a narcissist? It takes double the efforts to help them see through that mental fog and the psychological gaslighting that they have been put through. Because this sophisticated narcissist gathers that knowledge, predatorily so. There are Reddit feeds out there. There are channels on narcissism where things are created by narcissists for narcissists, groups where you would see a lot of narcissists together talking about their narcissism, but not for change, to become better at abusing people. They're learning from each other. They're learning from us. This is the negative impact of this, that we unfortunately and unknowingly equip these predators with more knowledge, with more information that they weaponize against you. Then comes the therapy. If a narcissist is going to therapy in guise of becoming aware and growing and all that bullshit, you will see them using all those terms against you. I need space. You need to talk in terms of I need to have personal boundaries. I'm not going to tolerate that. When it clearly is not that. And they might be giving you silent treatment and might call you, I need silence, I need to meditate on this, I need to be mindful of my own actions. When it's not actually being mindful, it's pseudo-mindfulness. You're giving someone silent treatment, you're being passive-aggressive, and then you label it as mindfulness. It's not. They may stonewall you and may say, oh, I'm giving us a break. It's not that. Don't call it that. They might leave you starving for a closure, or they might leave you without any conclusion, and you might react, which is what we call reactive abuse, and then you will be labeled as emotionally immature, as I said earlier, all the negative things which might make you think you're going crazy. Do you see how the trend is changing? It's quite prevalent nowadays, so you need to be aware. What is the solution? This is what I say. See, if you keep chasing 7 signs you're dealing with a narcissist, even I create videos like that, but 8 signs, there's 9, that is not enough. That will give you surface level information, because not all narcissists are created alike, and narcissists are changing and evolving. It's a warning sign for us. What you should do, according to me and in my opinion, is that you should stay connected with your intuition, because that is going to be your biggest guide, your light that will show you the right direction. These people give off their narcissism occasionally, here and there, sporadically. So if your narc radar detects something, don't justify it. If there is something they have done, or you feel like it doesn't match with who they pretend to be, take it seriously. Try to go after it, dig in more, try to find out more information. Trust your intuition, as I say, and give it time. Earlier, probably they used to, on an average, show their true colors within 3 to 4 months. Now, unfortunately, you might have to wait for years. Like I say, sometimes a year or 2, because they can't hold it for that long. Hopefully, they will show their true colors. You have to wait. Even if you feel like you're with somebody healthy, you need to know them at the deepest level possible before committing to something serious. Don't be afraid of giving a big pushback. Let's say you're with a narcissist and they say, oh, I'll do this, I'll do that. The really big things, like big changes, they might need to make to be there for you, to confess their love, to show their love towards you. Let them make those changes. It's not that you're being a narcissist. No, you're just worth all of those efforts. It's better to evaluate somebody in that way than to end up with a narcissist. Test them. Not always, then that would lead to a different problem. But occasionally, test them. If they, without telling them or giving them signs that this is a test, you should be very, very strategic when you do all of this. But test them. And if they fail, then that is your answer. Work on yourself. That is the third step. Your wounds should be filled. Your wounds should not be raw, because if they are, then they'll be weaponized against you. The way there is this epidemic of narcissism, there is this epidemic of, for the lack of a better word, codependency as well, like all the trauma patterns that are not narcissism. We have been groomed to people please, and when such individuals show up in our life, those trauma patterns get activated. That is what we call as being attracted to a narcissist. You're not attracted to a narcissist. That doesn't happen. What happens is when such an individual shows up, they are the image of who you were raised by, the narcissistic parent, and the similar coping mechanisms that you used back then to deal with them or get activated now, and it's like at a subconscious level you're dealing with your parent. That is how the narcissist seeps in through those cracks. Fill them up. You can't be that vulnerable, especially during these times, and especially if you are navigating this dating pool, which is a pool filled with sharks. The other thing that I want to suggest is untie everything that you have heard so far. Don't wear your heart on a sleeve. Don't be vulnerable, open to everybody. People are not that good nowadays. There is a lot of stuff going on around. You know about that. Don't be that open. I'm not saying, oh, isolate yourself and don't make friends. Do all of that, but always take everything with a little pinch of salt until things are proven to you, until you feel like you can trust them. Know that there are monsters out there, and they don't look like monsters. They don't have horns. They come across as the nicest, kindest, most amazing people you have ever known, only to bite you, hit you when you expect them the least to do so. Your loyalty is the biggest thing you can offer, the biggest diamond, the gem you have. Not everybody can have it. Access to you and to your innermost core should be a privilege, not in a narcissistic way. You know what I mean. You can't give anybody access to everything that you are, your family, because narcissists, what's the first thing they do? They enter your family like a parasite, isolate them from you, make them think like you are this crazy person, and you lose your family, you lose your friends. They are your biggest assets, and you shouldn't give access to them to everybody. Be sophisticated, be aware, think, work on your emotions, trust your intuition, and update yourself with this information. Know how the modern narcissist behaves. That is what I had to say. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you stay protected, you stay safe, and you do not end up with further narcissists. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate your presence as always. Together we are, and let the healing begin and continue.